Picture two people, same city, same age, both working full-time jobs, both paying rent in the same neighborhood, riding the same subway line every morning. One earns $62,000 a year. The other earns $91,000. Neither has a savings account with more than $400 in it. The first person, the one earning less, checks their account every morning, not from anxiety, from habit. It is a ritual now. Calm, precise, intentional. They pack lunch 4 days a week. They drive a 7-year-old car with 200,000 miles on it. Their apartment is modest. Nothing about them looks wealthy. But they have $22,000 in an index fund, a 3-month emergency cushion, 0 credit card debt, and they sleep through the night. Now picture the second person, the one earning $91,000. New car smell in a lease they stretch to afford, a kitchen with every appliance, 6 streaming services, DoorDash 4 nights a week, a wardrobe that gets refreshed every season, friends who describe them as someone who really has their life together. They check their bank account on a Wednesday morning. Payday is 9 days away. There is $412 sitting there. The chest tightens. They are not irresponsible. They are not reckless. They work hard. They earn well. And yet the number on that screen makes them feel like they are failing. You probably know which one you feel more like right now. And if you are being honest, you have wondered what the actual difference between them is. It is not discipline. The person earning less is not some monk of personal finance. They have Netflix, they eat out. They are not depriving themselves of anything. It is not income. You have probably already tested this theory yourself. You got the raise. You expected the relief to follow. The relief lasted about 3 weeks. It is not luck. Neither of them inherited money. Neither won anything. Neither got a windfall. The difference in their outcomes did not fall from the sky. The difference is invisible. It lives inside both of them. In the split-second decisions they make every single day without even realizing they are making them. This is not a story about income. It is a story about identity and the silent financial scripts running in your head that you never agreed to install. Here is what you have probably been told. Earn more, spend less, automate your savings, make a budget, cut the lattes, and yes, all of that is technically true. But you have heard it multiple times. You have probably tried some version of it. And you are still watching this video, which tells you something important. The conventional financial advice treats money problems like math problems. It acts like the solution is a formula you just have not discovered yet. It is not. Money problems are psychology problems first. They are identity problems. They are emotional architecture problems. The math is actually the easy part. The reason you feel stuck is not that you lack knowledge. You know what a budget is. You know what compound interest is. You are not uninformed. You are blocked. And the thing blocking you is not laziness or weakness. It is a deep running set of beliefs about who you are and what people like you do with money. Those beliefs were formed before you were old enough to question them. At a kitchen table, in a car ride, watching how the adults in your life talked about money. Some of you grew up hearing money is hard to hold on to. Some learned that rich people are not to be trusted. Some learned that wanting more is greedy. Those are not facts. They are programs. They are running quietly in the background of every financial decision you make, whether you notice them or not. What you are about to learn is not a new budget template. It is how to locate the actual source of your financial behavior. And finally, change it at the root. There is a concept in behavioral economics called mental accounting. It sounds academic, but it is something you do every single day, and it is costing you. Mental accounting is the tendency your brain has to assign different values and different rules to money based on where it came from or where it currently sits. That tax refund? Your brain does not treat it like earned income. It treats it like found money, which means you feel free to spend it on something you would never buy otherwise. That credit card balance? Your brain has quarantined it. It lives in a separate mental folder labeled deal with a later, which lets you still feel okay today. This is not a character flaw. This is how every human brain works. The brain was not built for compound interest. It was built for survival in the present moment. Your brain runs on dopamine and threat avoidance. It rewards spending. Because spending feels like action, like relief, like getting something. Saving feels like nothing. This is called present bias. The tendency to value immediate reward far more heavily than future benefit, even when you intellectually know the math says otherwise. A study offered people a choice. $100 today or $110 in a week. Most chose today, 10% more in 7 days. Still chose now. This is the engine driving most of your financial behavior. Not greed, not stupidity, just a brain doing exactly what it was designed to do in a world it was not designed for. And layered on top of present bias is something called identity-consistent behavior. You do not just spend money, you spend in ways that confirm who you believe you are. If you believe somewhere deep down that you are not a wealthy person, then having money starts to feel wrong, uncomfortable, like wearing someone else's clothes. So your brain finds a way to restore the familiar. A purchase here, an impulse there, a reason why this is not the right time to invest. The balance comes back down to normal. Normal is dangerous. Normal is not neutral. Normal is whatever your nervous system has been conditioned to expect. And it will fight to keep you exactly there. The goal of this video is not to tell you what to do with your money. The goal is to help you see the mechanism so you can finally stop letting it run you. Because once you can see it clearly, it loses power over you. Not all at once, but enough. Enough to start making decisions from intention instead of from default. Let us call the first principle the lifestyle trap. It is the most common reason high earners stay broke. And it almost always starts with something that feels like a reward. You get the promotion, or the new job, or the raise you worked 3 years for, and your brain, quite reasonably, says, I earned this. I deserve to live better now. So you upgrade. The apartment, the car, the wardrobe, the dinner's out. Each upgrade feels modest and justified. You are not being extravagant. You are living your level. This is called lifestyle inflation. Economists call it hedonic adaptation. Your brain adjusts to new comforts so quickly that the upgraded version becomes the new normal. The income went up by $2,000 a month, but so did the expenses, silently, gradually, automatically, until the gap between earning and spending is identical. This is why the raise felt like relief for exactly 3 weeks. Because within a month, the lifestyle had expanded to fill the new income. The financial pressure simply reset. What you feel about this right now, that mix of recognition and quiet frustration, that is useful. It means you can see it. And what you can see, you can work with. The reframe is this. Every time your income goes up, treat the first 50% of the increase as untouchable. Before it lands in your lifestyle, root it somewhere else. This is not about deprivation. You still get to enjoy the raise. Half of it goes to your future. Half of it improves your present. That is a genuinely fair deal. But the lifestyle trap is only the surface layer. Underneath it, there is a deeper mechanism. One that keeps the trap in place even when you know that it is there. The second principle is what I call invisible spending. These are not the big purchases you deliberate over. They are the ones your brain has already stopped counting. Think about the last time you checked your bank statement and found a charge you had completely forgotten about. Not fraud, just a subscription you stopped thinking about. That charge does not just cost money, it costs something more important. You are no longer in active relationship with your spending. It is running on autopilot without you. Research shows the average household underestimates its monthly spending by 30 to 40%. Not because people are careless, because spending becomes invisible. The psychological mechanism here is called attentional blindness. Your brain learns to filter out repeated familiar stimuli. Your regular charges stop registering as decisions. This matters because every charge that becomes invisible is outside your awareness. And outside your awareness means outside your control. Automation is not always a friend. The emotion underneath invisible spending is usually avoidance. Looking at the full picture of what you spend feels like confrontation. So the brain simply does not look. The reframe is this. Once a month, audit every outgoing charge. Not to judge yourself, not to feel guilty, just to see clearly. Visibility is itself a form of power. When you can see exactly where your money goes, the unconscious becomes conscious. And a conscious decision, even one you make the same way, is a completely different act. Invisible spending keeps you broke passively. The third principle keeps you broke actively. Through the one emotion every financial self-help book is too afraid to name. That emotion is shame, and the principle is what I call the shame loop. It is the most underestimated driver of financial dysfunction. And it works exactly like this. You look at your finances, you feel bad about what you see. That feeling of badness is not just discomfort, it is a threat signal. Your nervous system reads it as danger. And when your nervous system perceives danger, it does not want you to sit with spreadsheets. It wants you to feel better, immediately, chemically, right now. So you buy something small, or you eat something satisfying, or you scroll through something distracting. The shame recedes. For now. Until the next time you look. This is the loop. Shame triggers spending. Why spending creates more financial chaos. More financial chaos creates more shame, and the loop tightens with every single cycle. The reason financial advice rarely works for people in the shame loop is that the advice assumes calm rationality. Shame does not operate in calm rationality. It shuts it down. Brain imaging research shows financial stress activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. You are not choosing to avoid your finances. You are fleeing from pain. The reframe here is not about toughening up. It is about changing the emotional context of money. You cannot think your way out of a shame spiral. You feel your way through. Start by separating your net worth from your self-worth. What is in your account right now is a starting number. It is data. It is not a verdict on your value as a person. The shame loop is powerful, but it is breakable. And the fourth principle gives you the clearest mechanical tool for breaking it from the inside out. Here it is. The fourth principle is called the future self gap. It is the distance between who you are today and who you imagine yourself being when your financial life finally works. Most people have a future self who is almost like a different person. More disciplined, more organized, more focused. The future self is somehow better equipped to handle this. So today, you defers to future you. I will start saving when I earn more. I will sort this after the holidays. I will deal with the debt once things calm down. Future you will handle it. There is neuroscience research on this. When people think about their future selves, the brain regions that activate are the same ones used to think about complete strangers. You are not saving for yourself. You are saving for a stranger, and your brain does not prioritize strangers. This is not a metaphor. This is how your neural architecture works. This is why every decision you make for future, you feels like sacrifice. Because neurologically, it is. You are giving something to someone your brain does not recognize as you. The fix is counterintuitive. You do not need more discipline. You need a stronger relationship with your future self. You need to make that person feel real, specific, and close. Write a letter from your future self to your present self. Or age your photo using an app. Concrete visualization closes the neural gap. It sounds strange. It genuinely works. When the future self feels real, saving shifts. It stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like a transfer. And you are not losing money. You are sending it to yourself. There is one more principle, and it is the one most people never arrive at, because it requires confronting something they have been quietly carrying their entire adult lives. The fifth principle is the deepest one. I call it the money identity. It is the answer to a question you may have never consciously asked: who do I believe I am with money? Not who you want to be, who you believe you already are, because your behavior will always move toward alignment with that belief, no matter what you consciously intend. If you believe you are bad with money, you will find evidence for it constantly. The forgotten bill, the impulse buy, the month you never saved, proof, still more. This is called confirmation bias. Your brain does not search for truth. It searches for confirmation of what it already believes. Feed it a negative identity, and it confirms it daily. The money identity was installed before you had any say. It came from what you watched, what you overheard, what was modeled for you. It is not yours. You just inherited it. Here is the critical shift. Identity change does not follow behavior change. Behavior change follows identity change. You do not act your way to a new belief. Belief leads action. The real question is not, what should I do differently with money? The real question is, what would someone who is genuinely good with money believe that I do not yet believe? And then you practice believing it. Not pretending, not performing, practicing. The way you practice anything, with repetition, evidence gathering, and patient self-correction. Start small. Now transfer $20 to savings and notice the thought that follows. If the thought is that is not enough, examine it. That thought is your money identity speaking. Every time you act in a way that contradicts your old money identity, you cast a vote for a new one. One vote does not change an election, but 1,000,000 votes over time absolutely does. Let me show you these 5 principles lived out across real time. 2 people. Call them Mark and Sarah. Both 26 years old. Both earn $48,000 a year. Both have student loans. Both share apartments with a roommate. Neither has savings above $1,000. They start from the exact same position. Watch what happens next. At 28, Mark gets a raise to $58,000. He upgrades his apartment, gets a car payment, eats out more. The lifestyle expands to match the income. The gap stays the same. At 28, Sarah gets the same raise. She keeps her apartment one more year. She routes $400 a month into an index fund. She notices the future self gap and decides to close it. By 32, Mark earns $65,000. He has $1,000 in savings and $3,000 in credit card debt. He is trapped in the lifestyle trap with no mechanism to exit. By 32, Sarah earns $65,000 as well. She has $19,000 in her index fund. She has cleared her credit card balance. The shame loop no longer runs her decisions. By 36, the gap has compounded. Mark earns $72,000. He has $4,000 in savings and $6,000 in debt. He feels like he's going harder than ever and going nowhere. By 36, Sarah earns $70,000, slightly less than Mark, but she has $51,000 in investments and a $12,000 emergency fund. She sleeps deeply. The difference is not income. It is not intelligence, discipline, or luck. The difference is that Sarah addressed the psychological mechanisms and Mark never knew they existed. By 40, the compound effect becomes irreversible. Sarah's portfolio has crossed $110,000. Mark's savings have never stayed above $8,000 for more than 4 months. At 42, Sarah starts working fewer hours. Not because she won the lottery, because she built a financial foundation that gives her options. She calls it quiet freedom. At 42, Mark gets a better job at $90,000. He feels relief, upgrades his car, his apartment, his lifestyle. 3 months later, the relief is gone. The mechanism is unchanged. Mark is not a cautionary tale about a bad person making bad choices. He is a mirror for what happens when the psychological layer goes unaddressed, regardless of how income changes. Sarah is not a success story about someone with rare discipline. She is what becomes available to anyone who decides to understand themselves before trying to change their behavior. The divergence between them was not dramatic. It happened in thousands of tiny decisions, each quietly shaped by what they believed about who they were with money. Right now, you might be feeling something you cannot quite name. A kind of heaviness, recognition mixed with something that wants to argue back. That feeling makes sense. Let it be there. Maybe what you are sitting with is grief. Grief for the years already passed inside the mechanism. For the money that moved through your hands without intention. That is real. And maybe underneath the grief is something sharper. Anger at yourself. Anger that no one taught you this. At a system that sells financial products before financial literacy. You are allowed to feel all of that. The anger is accurate, the grief is appropriate, the frustration with how late this is landing, every bit of it makes complete sense. But here's the distinction that changes everything. What you feel about your financial past is not your financial future. The feeling is information. It is not a sentence. You can feel grief about wasted years and still start today. You can feel angry about what you were never taught and still go learn it now. The feeling and the action can coexist. The past is a fixed variable. The future is still in play. And the fact that you made it this far into this video tells me something. It tells me you are ready to stop waiting. Let us talk about what to actually do. 3 steps, not 30. Not a 7-part system. 1 this week, 1 this month, 1 that plays out across this entire year. This week, do one thing only. Open every bank account, every credit card, every subscription charge, and write down what you actually spend in a month. Every single penny. Not to judge it, not to cut it, just to see it. Full clarity on 1 page. Most people are managing a story about their finances, not the actual numbers underneath the story. After the audit, notice how you feel. Notice the impulse to close the tab or deal with it later. That impulse is the shame loop trying to restart. And watch it rather than obey it. This month, build 1 automatic transfer. Make it small enough that it does not hurt. $50, $100. The amount matters far less than the identity it begins to build. Every time that transfer runs, you become, in a small but real way, the version of yourself who saves. Not because the amount is life-changing yet, because the belief is shifting. This year, replace 1 money belief, not with an affirmation, with a single honest sentence that feels 1% more true than what you currently tell yourself. Write it down. Maybe the old sentence is, I am always going to be bad with money. The new sentence might be, I am starting to understand why I behaved the way I did, and I am choosing differently now. That sentence is not a lie. It is not wishful thinking. It is accurate. You do understand more than you did 90 minutes ago. And understanding is where every real change begins. These 3 steps are not the whole plan. They are the foundation. They are what make every other piece of financial advice finally land, because the ground beneath it has shifted. Picture 2 mornings, 15 years from now. The first, you are 51. The alarm pulls you out before light. You are already calculating before your feet hit the floor. The job pays well, but you need it. All of it. The lifestyle has expanded again, and there is no margin, no cushion, no option to stop. The math requires you. Every single month, now the second morning. Same age, 51. You wake up because you are ready to, not because you have to. There is light in through the window. The coffee's already made. You still work. Maybe you even love what you do, but you work from choice, not necessity. The accounts have been doing quiet work for 15 years. They do not need you to panic. The difference between those 2 mornings is not 15 years of sacrifice. It is not deprivation or white-knuckle discipline. It is 15 years of living a different story. The story you tell yourself about money is not background noise. It is architecture. It shapes what you see, what you reach for, what you allow, and what you talk yourself out of. You did not end up here, in this financial moment, watching this video, by accident. You ended up here because the old story ran out of road. Something in you knows it is time. The money was never the real problem. The story about the money was the problem. And unlike your income, your age, or your past, the story is the one thing you can rewrite today.